Hello, everyone. This is Jim Nelson,
And Tracy Nelson.
and this is the Multipass Podcast. All right. Well, first, I think we need to talk about this is our first episode. So, what are we doing here?
Well, what does Multipass Podcast mean?
What is it? Why are we doing this?
Ooh.
Well, Multipass Podcast is something we're going to present because we find that the world is a changing.
It's shifting, and we're a little concerned.
Right. So it's shifting in various ways, and what we want to do is find out how to kind of ride that wave, so that we can really present this work-life balance in a way that's really congruous. Congruous is the word of the day.
There'll be many of those.
I'll try and keep.
Big
I'll try
ones.
not. It's annoying. I know. But I'll try. So bring work-life balance into focus so that we can really talk more about that. And why do we want to do that?
Well, because we're moving towards that. Everybody is. Society is in general. I mean, you've got constant technology kind of coming at you. And
Right. And so that technology is kind of eradicating this sense of 9 to 5. Does anybody else notice that? I notice it really a lot.
does anybody have a 9 to 5 job anymore?
I think there are some.
Yeah?
But
Like-
I think they're fewer. I think people can work 9 to 5 a lot of times.
But I mean, sure they can, but I mean, most jobs just have always not been 9 to 5. I mean, even just like your typical teacher job, that sort of thing they've never had a 9 to 5 job.
Right. So that 9 to 5 is kind of slowly over time, maybe decades for some, maybe days for others, going away. And also there's another concept of the after 5 is going away too. So, and that's really the way I've been looking at it and researching it, a factor of the technology. So you're always available. You always have your phone. You always have this. And you can choose to disconnect, and that's not a bad choice. But that's what happens.
But does anybody really disconnect?
I've heard of legends. Stories, myths, perhaps, that they do. So 9 to 5 is going away, and after 5, that concept of sitting down and watching Friends or Frasier or whatever is going away. So what do we do?
What do we do? How do we make that balance now? Because really, it's no longer existing in those terms anymore.
Right. So there's two choices, right? And this is how we see it, and we want to hear back from you to see what you think. But there's the sense of my work is my work and my life is my life. Or a lot of people, especially in demographic right around 20 to 35, are finding ways to make those two things fit together. And I think that's really the inevitable conclusion, is that you're going to be doing stuff, whether it's your full-time job or whether it's your side hustle. These things are going to blend together. Work is going to blend into life. And I think that's really kind of the inevitable conclusion.
And when you think about it, we've been doing it for an awful long time, just having those two constantly kind of coming together in one, whatever it is you're doing. Just in the alone with you starting, when you started with US Bank, there was that whole push, I know, when you first came on, of why don't we work from home? At least part of the time.
Right.
And there was kind of a bit of a resistance there.
Right. So like there's a senior sort of a set that, and I think it depends on the industry, and I think it depends on the size of the company. In general, larger companies are more prone to this sense of coming to the office and work from the office. And sometimes for the right job, that's very, very appropriate. So don't get the impression that we're saying, hey, if you're working if you're working as a manager at Wendy's, you can do that from home, because that's going to be tough. But many jobs are more productive from home. And when that happens, there comes this element of bleed over, right? Like, for example, there is a survey that says 40% of people check in to work during vacation. Now,
It's much higher.
that number is shocking because it seems so incredibly low. But in my case, what was it? I think we're about 99.9. Just 100. Just 100.
Constantly. You're always engaged, it seems.
So, and just depends on what you're doing. But that's important to realize, that these things need to kind of come together. So we want to explore that. That's what this podcast is all about. And we want to define the things that make that work-life balance really interesting and make it work. So, eliminate those artificial barriers that might be kind of expectations that when you have to engage work after hours, it's somehow annoying. It's your life. It's either your livelihood or it's what you love to do, or sometimes a combination of both, if you're lucky, right? That was me knocking on wood.
For sure. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that really happens like just when you work a 9 to 5 job and then I have kind of a side hustle, I guess you'd say, when I was working with the theater and stuff, and then you would come and be a part of that as well.
Right.
And so we're trying to have a balance of our life and this other thing that we had going come together and not overwhelm and take over our lives, and still be able to coexist and
Right, and that becomes
family. And,
yeah, and that becomes like really important. So when I was working at a financial institution, oftentimes at various points I was traveling, but during this particular phase of our life, I was traveling a lot. I wanted to do more with the theater stuff, and simply couldn't because certain barriers get in the way. And sometimes it depends on whether it's your side hustle or your main job. It's really struggling, to find ways to bring those two things together. That's the important thing, and we want to dive into that.
hopefully we can start, kind of a discussion not only with just ourselves but with others, to kind of
Yeah. So we're going to do a lot of
Open that up.
interviews on our podcast, on the Multipass podcast.
Multipass.
We know a lot of interesting people for this, so this will be really, hopefully, interesting to everybody else. But there's a lot of people out there who I think stories are kind of interesting, how it's merged into today.
how they align with it and maybe how some of them don't.
Right. So Multipass is going to be exploring that, and I think one of the things we probably need to do, to be fair, is talk about our situation. Right? What are we doing?
Right. What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing, everybody? I think what we're doing is we're really trying to discover, okay, well, I've been doing consulting or sales enablement or event production, different things like that for 25 years in earnest.
And you're still just 38.
I know, that's the most amazing thing.
Crazy.
That's the most amazing thing. Tracy, on the other hand,
34.
that's right, we're 3.5 years apart, has been doing theater and all these other things as a teacher, as a director, as community activator for about the same
Party
amount of time.
planner.
Yeah, event planner.
Yeah.
I mean, all these things kind of come together. So what we're finding is, just like we want to bring work and life together, we have this cockeyed plan to be able to support work life for anyone wherever that occurs.
Right.
So if you need help with a work event, such as a sales conference, or if you need help with a home event, right?
Right.
Such as planning some sort of event at home, maybe you do the whole LuLaRoe thing. That was an interesting phase of our lives, right? So
Always hustling. We're always hustling.
so whatever it might be, we want to be able to help with that. So that's what we're doing with a thing we're calling hustle consulting. And hustle is kind of a funny word.
It is kind of a funny word.
What do you think about the word hustle? That's the look we get a lot. No, so here's the thing. There's it's definitely broken the demographic down into two different places. So I think there's a older demographic, older than us, 39 and above, where they think that word has kind of a negative connotation. But I'll tell you, what I'm finding is in the demographic that is kind of entering the workforce more and more and more and more,
These days.
that word means energy, activity, and it's one of the most important words I think to try and put out there. So that's why we put that out there on our shingle as hustle consulting. We think it really represents that. And we think it really represents us and what we've been doing for a long time, just in various aspects. And now we have this kind of opportunity to bring those things together
And help others.
Hopefully help others do
Right.
stuff. So that's what we're kind of doing with it. So that's what it really means to us. But what does it mean to other people? I don't know. What does it mean to you? We'd love to hear from you. And also, maybe just bring you on the show. Don't worry, we're probably not going to bring you on to video, although I'd love to. But we can just talk to you about your story. And what does that mean for you? Do you have a side hustle? Is your main hustle now broadening out into other things, right? What does that mean? Who do you think we should bring on the show? Let's not name names.
Oh my God, why are you asking them?
Tell me who. Don't say who.
But whisper
Tell me
it.
who, but don't say names. No, we know a number of people, from senior leaders in organizations to people in specific industries.
Small companies.
Fascinating, smaller companies, small business. I mean, all these people getting into business just now for the first time, people trying to exit business, also people who have their own stuff. So I think it's going to be just no shortage of interesting stories that we're going to be able to bring into this whole thing. So we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. We're very excited.
Yeah. So we're going to try and do this a little bit every day. So you're going to tell us if it gets too much, but it's kind of fun for us. So if it's fun for no one else, we'll watch our show after, and so we'll have at least 2 views. And so afterwards, we'll figure out what that really means to you. And we'd love to hear back from you, because if we don't hear what you're looking for, then we can't include that. But we'll include anything. It doesn't have to just do with business.
No, it can be D&D.
We can play, might play D&D. I don't think we'll play D&D. Don't worry, we're not gonna play D&D here on camera. We will later though, not today. In the week or month. Anyway, I digress.
We're fine.
Yeah, but it might be hobbies. So those hobbies can sometimes be, I don't want to use this word monetized, but can sometimes be brought into your side hustle, right? So for example, there's an endeavor we're doing called Livestream D&D. Tracy and I have been aficionados for years and years and years, and we have this old, they're like 39. These people are ancient, right?
At least, right?
So we've been working and playing with them for a long time, and we thought, hey, we've looked out there and this might be interesting to a certain demographic, so it might be something we do. That's the side hustle that's coming into the whole work-life balance. That's part of the multi-pass package that you're going to be receiving for, remember the summer movies? When you had the multi-pass, I don't think it was called multi-pass, but you could see all those movies for like $10.
Right.
Yeah,
they still do that.
They still do that. I don't think it's $10 anymore.
No.
Though. No, it's like $100.
Yeah, it's just been a few years.
Horrible.
But it still's gone out.
It's horrible prices these days. But you want the old man voice? I'm going to break out the old man voice a number of times.
The audience
Number of times. But
Entertaining, at least.
no, I hope so. That's all we can do, folks, is we can just hope this is somehow in any way interesting to you somehow. But yeah, that's what Multipass is going to be about. So we're excited to bring it to you, like we said. We want to hear what you want to do, so let us know if you have some ideas. Let us know if you want to be on the show. And
we'll take it from there.
we'll take it from there, absolutely.
We'll take it from there.
So this is Jim.
This is Tracy.
And this is the Multipass Podcast. Thanks, everybody.